One thing that you're looking at is the volatility. The VIX in particular, since the government shutdown started, we kind of hit a high of 25 about 2 weeks into the government shutdown. Big decline since then. Is that the best way to play this, playing the VIX options?
Well, the VIX actually is just a great indicator that tells us the pricing of options. So when VIX is really low, it means that option prices are actually rather cheap, including puts and calls. But the recent rise, Frank, in volatility in the VIX was a bit of a concern. And frankly, it came after the shutdown started. There's a lot of complacency in the early part of September, people not thinking that the shutdown was going to last this long. Finally, something started to break at the end of September, and we did see a big spike up to near 30 in the VIX. It came right back down again. People were selling volatility and thinking that, eventually this thing is going to pass, and it did.
All right. So then how would you play this when we're looking at the options market? Would you be buying calls with the idea we're going to see a big jump in the markets? Why wouldn't you think most of the gains are priced in? Because we've had a couple of days of the Senate passing the bill now, and the idea it's going to go to the House, the president voicing his support for it as well.
Yes, that's right. And so what we saw recently, Frank, was a test of the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. Now, as a technician, I like to see pullbacks to those certain levels to support the market, and especially the 50-day moving average, which got tested, Frank, on Friday. And the last 4 or 5 times we did get a test at 50-day moving average, the markets took off from that point in time. So we're talking from back in April. So 5 or 6 times already that markets dipped, and the dip buyers stepped in and took their action and brought the markets up to higher levels. But what the nice thing is, we're seeing this sort of action happening across the board, across all the indices like the Russell 2000, the Dow Industrials, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. So all 4 of these indices, Frank, tested some levels and successfully tested them on Friday.
All right, so, break it down for us, Bob. People are looking for a play here. So is the play to buy calls? Is it on the S&P? Is it on the small caps? You just mentioned the small caps as well. Where would you want to make the play?
So I'm watching option flows, Frank, and I'm looking at call option buying that's happening over the next 3 to 4 to 6 months. And we saw some really good, strong call option buying in meta platforms, the 700 strike out into the spring. We saw some strong call volume in Amazon yesterday. The May 250 calls. Lyft also had good earnings last week and saw some interest yesterday in the 24 and the 26 strike. We also saw some good action in NVIDIA, and I heard you just mention that SoftBank liquidating their position in the company, but still some good, strong NVIDIA calls from 210 all the way up to 220 out in March and April of next year. So it seems like there's a lot of optimism coming into 2026 from option buyers here. We're also seeing some put selling going on, which is interestingly enough that a lot of investors are deciding to sell some puts and sell the premium in those puts without the regard of getting the stock put to them right now too. So we're seeing a lot of put selling going on in Microsoft and also in Google as well too.
All right, Bob, can I ask you a broader question? We're looking at investors trying to buy downside protection or looking to play the upside. With the idea that we're having NVIDIA earnings coming up just about a week from now, next Wednesday, how is the pricing and how are investors just trying to play the idea the government may reopen, but there's a lot riding on the market with NVIDIA as well?
That's a real good question there, Frank. And I think that playing NVIDIA, for instance, you can play it in both directions here. I think the market is not looking for a very large move, larger than normal move in NVIDIA. I think it's about 5.5%. And so you can play it both ways. So you can play you can buy some puts to the downside just in case the stock falters or it just doesn't deliver enough for what investors are looking for. Or you can also buy some calls in addition, looking for some upside, following some of those call buyers that are out into 2026. So you can strangle that.
You can go both ways, Bob, but which way is the money going right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I think right now, Frank, the money is going into the bullish side, and I think people are looking at this recent pullback. NVIDIA hit about 210 about a week and a half ago. It came down about 7-8% just a couple of days ago, and I think people are looking for the bullish side, looking for some more upside action in NVIDIA, at least back up to those old highs.